What's going on, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you your weekly dose of horror, and today I'm going to be talking about an anthology movie that came out in the year 2012, and that is The ABCs of Death. Now, I believe this actually got two sequels to it, which I have not checked out or owned or anything like that, but I do have this one here, and I only watched this movie once about a year ago, and I couldn't really remember exactly how I felt about it or remember everything about it, but the concept of this movie is it is 26 different shorts that are supposed to be dealing with different ways people can possibly die, and each short is done by a different horror director, or just director in general. I'm not too sure if all these are really big horror directors. Some of them are, and some of them I've really never heard much about. But anyway, they all did a short for this movie, so it's kind of hard. There's really no plot to the film. It's literally just 26 different shorts, and the film runs about 130 minutes, so it is a long one, obviously for a reason. If you're gonna fit that many shorts in there, it's going to be a longer film. So, yeah, like I said, it's just a bunch of shorts. When it comes to anthologies, nowadays I feel like a lot of anthology movies aren't really your traditional anthology. I feel like a lot of them are just a bunch of different directors coming together and doing short little horror things and then just throwing it together and calling it a movie, and that's kind of what I feel like you get with this one. There's really no wraparound or anything like that. It's just the concept of the ABCs of Death is what you get, and that's kind of the way they all sort of relate here. I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly. I prefer an anthology to be a true anthology, such as like Tales from the Crypt from the 70s, or Body Bags with John Carpenter kind of being the sort of wraparound story going on there. But anyway, I feel like the concept of this movie was a pretty cool idea. The idea, when you hear it, kind of reminds you of like the show A Thousand Ways to Die or something like that, which I used to love that show, and it's a pretty cool idea. But when it comes to doing 26 shorts and trying to cram them into a movie, like I said, it's over 2 hours long, but even then, I feel like it's not enough time to get a lot of decent shorts in there, and with some of these little shorts, I feel like they're quite literally too short to where if you look down for a minute or you get up to get a drink or just look at your phone or something, it's over and you didn't even see it. And that was definitely a problem I had with this movie, both the first time I watched it and this second time around. This time around, I believe it's the Ti West short. It's called like Miscarriage. I completely missed that one. I just looked away for a second and boom, it was over. So that's kind of an issue, really, because it's like I said, a very long movie and there's no actual plot going on. It's all just different people's small little segments, and if you aren't, you just have to try to pay attention to all of it, and that could get kind of tedious, especially because I don't feel that all these shorts are necessarily great shorts. There's really only a few that kind of stand out, and I feel like they're all really weird as well. They just kind of have really weird vibes. I believe Adam Green did one that was probably the most normal one in here, especially coming from him. It was kind of familiar territory, but everything else going on in this movie is just kind of odd, and some of them are a little more comedic, and then some are cartoons, and some are claymation, so you're getting a huge variety here, and that's why I say it's more of just a bunch of segments thrown together, and I wouldn't really consider it an anthology. It just doesn't really feel like a real movie. It's just if you sat down on YouTube and started just watching a bunch of little short films going on. But yeah, I don't know. I just like I said, I would consider it to be a little bit tedious to get through. I wouldn't say any of them are god awful. Some of them are just a little too out there for me, and some of them I just don't really understand what was even going on in them, and I think it's due to the fact that they are, once again, too short, and that's a big complaint that I always have with movies like this is if it's too short, you don't really have enough time to kind of get your concept out there or get the message through correctly, so it's really hard to follow. A few that I really liked were the second one, which I believe was like B is for Bigfoot, if I'm not mistaken, and then there's one towards the end that's like X is for XXL, and there's a few others here and there that I thought were pretty good. The best way to sum this movie up is just quirky. Most of them are very quirky and out there, so if you are into that and you find stuff like that to be interesting or disturbing or whatever, I would say definitely maybe give it a watch. But like I said, it's just a very long movie, and if you're not interested in everything that's going on, it's very hard to fully focus on the film. And I guess one plus is, if a short is interesting, it kind of draws you back in, but then if you go through some that you're just not that into, you're just kind of falling out of it. So with this movie, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. I don't remember what people really say about the second one, and like I said, I think there is a third one as well, but I don't know if people like those ones or not. I feel like people did enjoy this when it first came out, but like I said, I really don't remember what other people's opinions are on it. But yeah, and definitely not one that I would really go back to a whole lot for the fact that it is so long and I really don't enjoy many of the things going on in it. So 5.5 out of 10 for the ABCs of Death. Thank you guys once again for joining me for this weekly dose of horror, and as always, I'll see you next week.